Men of today's society, always rude, violent, manipulative, destructive, and braggart, with their only concerns being themselves. Have you heard something along these lines before? Because I have. Unfortunately, this is due to the fact that the media constantly misrepresents men through a range of stereotyping. Hello, conference delegates, and thank you for inviting me here to look at the negative and damaging impacts that the media portrays onto men. Media around the world categorize everybody into all-encompassing social groups. This results in men being misrepresented through current affair programs and advertising that create the idea that men are manipulative, callous, and incompetent. These negative representations of men are harmful and should be changed, as they reinforce the negative attitudes and opinions that people direct towards them. An example of a media text that misrepresents men is the current affairs segment called Boyfriend from Hell, which utilizes visual and language codes to strengthen the damaging stereotypes of men as callous and manipulative. During this segment, the journalist narrates by saying this is where John Lewington lives, and these are the half-built homes of his clients. This is supported with audio of peaceful music being played when displaying his house, compared to the audio cut when displaying his clients' homes. These codes are used to make men seem callous by comparing what they have opposed to others. How do you predict that viewers would react to this segment? Would they gain or maintain their positive opinion of men? Or would they create a sense of distrust and negative opinions about men in general in our society? I see very clearly that this program is unjustly showing men to be callous, as they only focus on what is good for themselves at the cost of others. By flagrantly ignoring all of the good that men of society provide, the media is intensifying the problem of misrepresentations. Another section in the segment that utilizes language codes to portray men as manipulative is when the protagonist says, "It's during when her grandmother and father passed away. I think that made us very, very vulnerable, and I think he preyed on her." The vulnerable nature of this text represents that men prey on the weak, and the use of the adjective vulnerable emphasizes the idea that men prey on the weak and exposed through manipulation to benefit themselves. This misrepresentation can heavily damage the stereotype of men by making the general population scared and afraid, as they believe that they will be preyed upon when they are at their weakest point. This supports the claim that through the use of both visual, audio, and language codes, Current Affair has biasly stereotyped all men as dangerous, scheming, and selfish predators. Due to the fact that it is easier to identify and recognize others through the media, the creators must realign their biased stereotypes and misrepresentations of men, as serious damage is being manifested that could escalate very, very quickly. Through the use of language codes, a Big Bog advertisement manages to further misrepresent men and strengthen the stereotype of men being incompetent. In the advertisement, it shows a man explaining to his son that the Great Wall of China was built to keep the rabbits out. Too many rabbits in China. Which is obviously the wrong answer. The conception of incompetency is further enhanced by the actor's delivery within the ad by accentuating the pauses in the man's response. This is aimed to make the man seem incompetent as he gives his child the incorrect answers. Towards the end of the ad, it shows his son about to present to class. And then it cuts off to a screen that says, "Give your kids the right answers. Get them broadband." Through utilizing language code of inclusive language, the developers of the ad have managed to create the idea that the man is incompetent. This enforces the idea that you do not want to be like him because you are shamed into thinking if you give your kids the wrong answer, you are a bad father. This is harmful to men as it perpetuates the misrepresentation of society having no trust and not listening to men due to their incompetency. This can be have very damaging effects on the mental health of men. Also, if children perceive these misrepresentations as accurate, they could also become humiliated by their fathers which would mean losing all respect for them. This will have a major impact on making fit men feel like they are not good enough in society. These misrepresentations need to be stopped, as they can cause major issues with men's mental health and their overall value in society. Through the use of visual and language codes, the developers of the advertisement have biasly stereotyped men as incompetent, as it is easy for society to group people together through media. It creates very harmful for men and needs to be stopped as soon as possible before we alienate all men. Negative attitudes and opinions that are directed at men need to be changed. These opinions can be directly linked to the harmful and damaging stereotypes and misrepresentations that the media portrays onto men. Across multiple different media sources, audio, visual, and language codes are used in multiple ways to support the general idea about men being manipulative, callous, and incompetent. These codes, such as audio cutting, emotive, and inclusive language, all contribute to these misrepresentations. The media unfairly perpetuate the negativity by shining a false and incorrect light against men in general. This encompasses the whole demographic in false male gender stereotyping. Do you think that men deserve to be negatively portrayed in the ways that they are? Or do you, like me, believe that men are heavily misrepresented? If so, are you willing to support the fight against the media? My advice would be to begin boycotting products and services from the companies that perpetuate the false male stereotypes, and start sending letters and information to your local media in an attempt to grow supporters and numbers. Thank you for listening.